I call on Mike Russell to wind up, Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. Can I too thank and congratulate Linda Fabiani on raising this debate in Parliament. As human beings, we have a tendency, quite understandable tendency, to seek to make real and tangible ideas and concepts with which sometimes we struggle. And we struggle more than most with the concept of kindness and how individual acts of kindness can change the world. So Warren McLeod has come upon perhaps an obvious thing, but an inspirational thing, which is to make tangible and real that concept of kindness. And he is building on an old tradition in Scotland, a tradition of taking small things and using them to remind us of other much larger things. A good example might be the powers with which a particular type of bean, the Mary's kidney, is empowered in the Western Isles, a bean that comes on the Gulf Stream from the Caribbean islands, but which is much prized, and those who find it on the shores of South Uist or Barra take it and keep it in their pocket and treasure it for the rest of their lives. And indeed, Werner Kissling, the photographer and filmmaker who worked in Eriskay in the 1930s, found one on the shore in Eriskay and had it in his pocket for the rest of his life, and indeed was amongst his effects when he died. So what Warren McLeod has done is to take that old idea, to take the concept of converting ideas and concepts into something manageable, and used it to inspire the world with the idea of kindness. I think Robin Harper is quite right to say that the only problem with the idea is its modesty. Perhaps we need many more Sconestones around us. It would be intriguing, for example, to see a Sconestone doing the rounds in this Parliament on a weekly basis, with each member at least once every 2 or 3 years having to observe the rules, to do an act of kindness to a person, animal or thing for the good of the planet as a whole, to keep the stone for no more than 7 days, to encourage friends and strangers to touch the stone and pledge to an act of kindness, to pass the stone on to a person you trust who will honour the purpose of the stone, and to tell the Sconestone story on the website. And if we had our own Sconestone here, perhaps this place would be a different place, because the idea that a simple act of kindness, a single act of kindness, will inspire others towards kindness is an inspirational one and will, in time, change the world. Linda Fabiani has drawn attention to some of the keepers of the stone, and Neil Galbraith, certainly Scottish terms could not have been bettered as the first keeper, a man whose whole life has been devoted to inspiring others and to caring for others. But one or two others that she mentioned are inspirational figures too, and I want to mention one in particular now, the present keeper of the stone. This very week, Zuzana Laszlo, 17-year-old girl in the Czech Republic, who, when she was 11, gave away all the money she had to help other children whom she regarded as less fortunate than herself. Now, Zuzana has the stone this very week, but unfortunately she is now very ill and is at home under doctor's orders. And as we think of her and wish her well, I am sure we also think of the acts of kindness which she has inspired in other people. And next, the stone will be going on to Vienna, to Zofia Boris, who is a very talented musician and who is presently thinking of the acts of kindness that she wants to do. Deputy Presiding Officer, this is an unusual debate. I don't think before in this chamber we have talked in these terms about kindness and the inspiration of kindness. I don't think we have celebrated the work of individuals and the children at the Hunter Primary School who have been involved in a project like this. I don't think we have had the time to step back and to reflect upon what kindness is and how it spreads around the world. One might suggest it is especially fitting during this year, the 250th anniversary of the birth of Robert Burns, to think of people who have strong affinity for their fellow men and women, individuals who recognise weaknesses and strengths, but who want to see the world a better place. I don't think it is an exaggeration to say that Warren McLeod is of that nature, and by his thought, by his actions, by his creativity, he is bit by bit changing the world. This Parliament, I am sure, wishes to salute him and to wish this concept well.
I now close this meeting.